Hello, I'm just going to be breaking down a couple trades I've taken this week. Thus far, I think it's Wednesday, having a 100% win rate. This is currently the trade I'm in. Currently floating 1.5 hours. I'm looking to, this is on my eval, so this is phase one up here. I'm looking to hold it till that point because I can see that happening. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. But this far, this week, we have 100% win rate. I'm just going to break down the trades and just explain them. So, my strategy is quite easy. It's TRC, trend, retrace, continuation. Always start in the hourly just to identify what the trend is. Take these away. This was a trade I took earlier this morning. So, as you can see, if we turn off everything on the charts right here, it doesn't take a damn genius to see that we are clearly bullish, right? We're clearly bullish. You can see that from these right here, just forming in. So once we understand that we're bullish, that doesn't not mean we only take buys, right? That's something I used to get tripped up on. When I'm bullish, only take buys, but no, it just means to identify where we are within the trend. Because trends move, well, the market really only moves in three ways, which is uptrend, downtrend, and sideways. And uptrends, for instance, higher highs, higher low, right? So if we look at this uptrend right here, and even to simplify it, something which I used to do a lot when I was starting out, the lines. Clearly see, so higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? And for me with this trade, I'm anticipating another high. This is a higher low being placed in and a higher high being formed. But obviously we don't know what's actually going to happen until it happens. But that's my anticipation. So yeah, just identifying right now that we are on a bullish trend. Once I see that, I scale down to the 30-minute. Right, and I like to look for a range in which we're trading in. So if you see right here, this is my range. I like us to get into the discount zone of that range, which we did at 2, which is when I entered, which is a 15%. So the reason I like to see this range is just indicates that we're in like a good pullback, a good enough pullback for us to continue higher. If you're going to go buy something from the store, you would want to get it at a cheaper price, right? So that's what I like to kind of think. Once we're in that 50% zone, then we go to the 5-minute before the 15, and we look for this exact entry model right here. High, low, high, higher, low, higher, high. I like to see that close. Once we close above this right here, then I'm in. Wherever we close, that's where I'm in. Stop loss at the wick lows, and I usually like to trail to the ranges high, which is right here. But because this is eval, I'm kind of trying to squeeze out what I can. I'm gonna kind of let it run to see where we can go, unless I get like an entry signal indicating that I should get out the trade. And at this stage, nothing really is telling me to get out as strongly. We are seeing a bit of pullbacks, but yeah. And before I enter on the 5, what I will need to see is us delivering from a 15-minute confluence. I want to see that entry signal from a 15-minute confluence. So right here, right, this was kind of the order block I was playing off. We tapped into this one, created a little order block right here, tapped into it, and yeah, that makes the 5-minute valid, right? So it's super simple. What I trade is super simple, and this is what has brought me an 100% win rate this week. Yeah, I'll analyze the trade I also took this morning, which is a good trade, but I'll break that down for you now. All right, so just this morning, Asia session, this was the trade I took in the morning. I took this buy right here, and I'll identify why I took it. So I kind of want to do a bar replay just to show you guys. Obviously, in real time, you won't be seeing this, but as you can see right here, just imagine that we are going into the open, which is when I like to trade, right? What I'll look at right now, clearly zoom out, we are in a uptrend, right? It does not mean we only take buys. It just means we understand where we are within the trend, right? And right now, right, I'm gonna zoom down to the 30-minute. I'm gonna scope out the nearest range, which is this high range right here, and also another range here. It was giving me double kind of indications as to me wanting to take a buy, because you can clearly see here we still haven't kind of broke bullish structure. It's still clearly bullish, and I just want to continue in that direction. So as I see that, I'm kind of looking for buys. At this point, I'm scaling down to the 5-minute to look for that entry signal again. 5-minute before the 15. It's kind of unconventional, but that's how I do it. 5-minute before the 15. So we're going to tap through and look for that model. Okay, we have a low. At this point, right, I played off the body. So this is a low. This is a higher low. If we get a close above this level, I'm going to enter the trade, which is what this candle is. This was super extended, right? So I think I entered right here on the retap right here. I did enter on the retap right here. And I am looking for the ranges high right here. But before I enter, 15-minute, what confluence were we playing off? Yeah, we're playing off this order block right here. The 15-minute candle is the same candle that we get the TRC entry, right? So at this point, this is an A+ setup for me. Why? High time frame trend is aligned in context. Higher low being placed in my mind. Before I see this, that's kind of what I'm seeing. 30-minute range. Yes, we're in discount zone. Perfect. 15-minute confluence is there. Yep. And our A+ setup entry. Perfect. So at this point, I'm in. I have no regrets because this is an A+ setup for me. Yep. Oh shit. A little lag there, but yeah, this was a trade. I think I got out at around 2R, but I definitely should have just held to this high as I should, and that fully hit that high. Easy trade. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. And I'm going to show you one more, which I took earlier this week, to just explain to you that it's exactly the same stuff. You know, literally copy and pasting the same thing every day. All right. And this was the other trade we took at the Monday, the first trade of the week. I'll explain this one again, but it's exactly the same thing. This one is a little more interesting because I took a sell here even though we are bullish, and I'll explain why. Because just because we're bullish does not mean we only take buys. Okay, so starting on the hourly trend is bullish, so we can clearly see that. We just need to identify this. Does not mean we only take buys. We just identify it. Scaling down to the 30-minute, we are scoping out a range. So within the 30-minute range and where we are currently at 3, we have a range here, a sell range. Right, we had this big sell-off move right here. Price is currently above the premium of this. So I want to look for sells at this point, because at this point within our range, we are in a seller's range, right? We are in premium. So this is where sells are more likely, and this is where we should look. So once we know that we are within that range, we scale down to the 5-minute, and we want to wait for our entry signal. Okay, so I'm gonna play it through like how I would have seen it. Obviously, I have my range set up. We know the trend is bullish, right? So by knowing the trend is bullish, that just means I kind of, even though I am taking a sell, I may not take it to the complete low, understanding that we are bullish, but I still know that we can pick up a sell position here, right? So taking it a couple candles at a time. We need to wait for that indication. Okay, it's setting up. All right. We have a low being placed in. We need a higher low. Boom, higher low, lower low right there. That's a beautiful setup right here. So high, low, lower high, lower low. Stops above the high. I would aim for this and trail on the 5 minute, but at this point I was in some drawdown on my funded account, so I just wanted to get to break even, so I only took around 2R right here, but this trade did run further. Boom. As you can see, super simple, super easy. It's the exact same stuff that we're doing. It's like clockwork. But yeah, those are the 3 trades I took this week, which is giving me 100% win rate for this week so far. I'm also currently in this position right here. I will let you guys know the outcome at the end of this position. I've already broken down this trade and why I took it. Okay, so we ended up winning this trade, hit full TP. I was looking to kind of just get the eval pass, which was here, but I was just thinking to myself, like, I don't need a really rush. This is my strategy here. This is the thing that we're for sure of. You know, once we've hit this level, within my kind of confines of my strategy, I don't really know. I don't have as much confidence that it will go further. Not to say that it won't, but this is my strategy, you know, because this was the range which we were playing off right here. So once we hit the high of that range, it's kind of out of my confines of my strategy. So this is the next day after I recorded this video, but I just took a trade this morning, which got me to phase 2 on my 10K. And I just want to break it down because before I was going to upload this video, I took the trade, so I was like, why not? Took a sell position today. It's literally the exact same stuff we're seeing. TLC, so clearly trend is bullish. There's something to identify. Something I was interested in was this point of liquidity right here. This is a big wick, which is like a kind of like liquidity for me. That's what I want to see price kind of move towards. So at this point, entering into the open, I was just trying to identify what range, right? At first, I wanted to see the sell from this range, but we clearly disrespected it, so that's okay. I moved onto this range. We also broke through this range, but as you can see with the bodies, because the bodies, wicks do the damage, bodies tell the story. It's something I learned a while ago, and it's something I stand by on all time frames. So if we're looking at just the bodies, you know, right here, you can see that we're still in that premium. So we did take this high, but we're still playing under this area right here, which is like a perfect area for us. At this point, let's go down to the 5 minute, wait for that entry, which was right here. Right here. And I only needed this much to get funded. So it's like a 1-to-1. 15 minute confluence right here, 15 minute order block, which we're playing off. Boom. And as simple as that, this trade is running further, but I only took it on eval. I am kind of wanting to see if we reach this point. This is kind of my final TP, which I can see it kind of moving towards, but I don't need all that. I just got what I needed. As you can see from this week here, updated to today, $913 this week alone, 100% win rate out of 5 trades. I think I'm gonna look at London and maybe my last trade for the week, but we'll see. Maybe de-risk. I'm already waiting for a payout on the 10K, so that's just kind of sitting there waiting, and then just trying to get more funding at this point. But yeah.